something I've touched on before, but whether you're mentioning again, Investors Business Daily, superb editorial page, Andrew Malcolm, a serious man, in a puzzling, unexplained development. The Obama administration has been buying and storing vast amounts of ammunition in recent months, with the Department of Homeland Security just placing another order for an additional 21.6 million rounds. For you gun control advocates, that's 21.6 million bullets. Several other agencies of the federal government also began buying large quantities of bullets last year. The Social Security Administration, for instance, not normally considered on the front lines of anything but dealing with seniors, explained its purchase of millions of rounds was for special agents required to take quarterly weapons qualifications. They must be pretty poor shots. But the Department of Homeland Security has been silent about its need for numerous orders of bullets in the multiple millions. Indeed, Examiner writer Ryan Keller points out Janet Napolitano's agency illegally redacted information from some ammunition solicitation forms following media inquiries. And according to one estimate, just since last spring, her department has stockpiled more than 1.6 billion bullets, mainly 40 caliber and 9 millimeter. That's sufficient firepower to shoot every American about 5 times. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. How many bullets do you need to kill a deer? That's the test, according to Andrew Cuomo. To kill every American 5 times. And by the way, we can include illegal immigrants on that. To provide some perspective, experts estimate that at the peak of the Iraq War, American troops were firing around 5.5 million rounds per month. At that rate, the Department of Human Services is armed now for a 24-year Iraq war. A 24-year Iraq war. But we need to know, all of you people, who has the guns, who has the ammo. We're going to limit the magazines, got to do background checks. Where's that information going to wind up, and what the hell for? With all the drones flying around, federal government's going to have all these bullets. The perceived need for so much ammunition in federal custody is especially strange given Obama's double-barreled emphasis in his inaugural address on the approaching end in Afghanistan of a decade of war. And he also noted, we the people still believe that enduring security and lasting peace do not require perpetual war. The lack of a credible official explanation for such awesome ammunition acquisitions is feeding all sorts of conspiracy theories, mainly centered on federal anticipation of some kind of domestic insurrection. I'm going to tell you what I think's going on. I don't think domestic insurrection. Law enforcement and national security agencies, they play out multiple scenarios. They simulate multiple scenarios. I'll tell you what I think they're simulating. The collapse of our financial system, the collapse of our society, and the potential for widespread violence, looting, killing in the streets. Because that's what happens when an economy collapses. I'm not talking about a recession. I'm talking about a collapse. When people are desperate. When they can't get food and clothing. When they have no way of going from place to place. When they can't protect themselves. There aren't enough police officers on the face of the earth to adequately handle a situation like that. But I suspect that just in case our fiscal situation, our monetary situation collapses, and following it, the civil society collapses, that is, the rule of law, that they want to be prepared. There is no other explanation for this. And having been close enough to law enforcement, not in law enforcement, but close enough to it in my days in the Justice Department, I expect that they're running through these scenarios. Just in case. Drones, domestic drones, and an enormous amount of ammunition, not for the military, but for all kinds of law enforcement and quasi-law enforcement federal types. I know why the government's arming up. It's not because there's going to be an insurrection. It's because our society is unraveling. And if things get out of hand one day due to economic destitution, I know this is hard to believe. The liberals out there, yeah, right. Go ahead. Go to your Starbucks. Go ahead. Do whatever you do on Friday nights. But that's why the government is doing what it's doing, to put down violence that may occur should this magnificent paradise that Obama and everybody else is building turn out to be hell on earth. You see what's going on in Greece and Spain and Portugal and other parts of the world? That's what they fear, and yet they've caused it.